We're still going on with this trailer. Still working on this trailer. We just rolled some undercoat paint onto the top just to stop it going rusty, really. The new metal was just, it kept raining on it and it was going to go rusty, so we cleaned it all off with some petrol because we didn't have much spirits, and wiped it all off, ground all the welds down smooth, which is what we've been doing today, and then we just rolled some primer on with just paint rollers, and then we've just mixed some up with some thinners, and Dan's just spraying the underneath now just to try and stop that going rusty. And then I think the plan is to maybe get the pressure washer and blast off the chassis, any of the loose rust and oil and crap and mud off the underneath the drivetrain, and then we're probably just going to spray all that as well, just to give it a bit of a coat. The actual main beam chassis is all galvanised, so we don't need to paint that, but how far do you go? Just cut a piece of metal to make the foot a bit bigger on this trailer, because at the moment it sits quite far down, and I think with any weight on it it's just going to sink into the ground, and it's a bit high at the back, so I'm just going to make a bigger foot so it doesn't drop down as far when you drop it off in the field. So I'm just cutting a piece of metal to weld on, and then Dan's got the brakes, the other brake ram on, so we just need some pipes making up. We're short of a long pipe basically to go. It's obviously got robbed at some point, but we need a long pipe to go to the tractor for the brakes, and he took one of the hubs apart yesterday to see what the brakes are like, and he says they actually seem alright, which doesn't surprise me because I don't think they'd have been used that much when it was a muck spreader, so didn't do a lot of road work if any, so hopefully the brakes will be fine. We don't really need to mess with them. We've ordered some lights to go on the back, so we'll have to make up some plates when they arrive, get some cabling put in, maybe put some side lights on the front. So we don't know how far to go really. We can get some amber side lights to go on the side maybe, but main thing is just get some indicators on it first. So yeah, and then we want to get it out of the way so we can start working on this rake really. That's the next job. Spent long enough on that trailer. Tuesday the 7th of April, just after the bank holiday Easter weekend. Just tried to start welding this hitch on last night, and got halfway through what needed to be a really good strong weld, and it ran out of gas, the welder, so I'm going to have to grind that off a bit and go over it again. What a typical place to run out of gas, I thought, but anyway. And then I've got some bits of what's left of all the offcuts of bits of channel that we use for the base. I'm going to weld together, and then I should have enough to make a 2-bar ladder. They'll only be 7 foot wide, but should be good enough. And yeah, the hitch was to just give a bit more length to the trailer to make it easier turning tighter, and also just to lower the front of the trailer down a bit when it's on the tractor, because it's still riding quite high. So that was the idea of that. And then I'm going to weld some sort of a taller foot onto it, because at the moment it sits very low at the front. When you drop it off in the field to load bales, the foot's tiny, the footprint, so it will sink, and B, I think it just sits down a bit too low. I'd rather it sat a little bit more level really, so I haven't just decided what to do yet, but I've got this bit of steel here that I've cut, which I'm going to weld onto the bottom, but I think I want to space it out a bit with something else. I did have this bit of old digger track wheel, which I was going to use to pack it out, but I tried to just cut a piece off it, and the cutter was going for ages and it wouldn't cut through it. It's obviously made of hard stuff. So I either weld that whole thing on which will raise me up probably about 5 inch, which might be a bit too far, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I've just been and got we've been and got a new gas bottle, so we can put that on and carry on. They look quite a bit more expensive now, those bottles, but to be fair, the last bottle basically made this whole trailer and a heap load more. We had it for ages before we even started on the trailer, so it's done a hell of a lot of welding on that 20 litre bottle of gas. So yeah, and also Mark and Dan were messing about with this tyre machine, and they reckon they've actually got it working. Can't give you a demonstration yet, but when we do use it, well, I'll show you. But when we got it, it was completely seized up. The springs and all the pedals, these pedals were gone, so the pedals just sat flat on the ground. This arm was completely seized, so you couldn't move it, like completely solidly seized. And this didn't have a latch, so you couldn't lock it up or down, and it was seized as well. So Mark's completely unseized the whole thing. These things slide in and out now because they didn't. Everything worked, but it'd obviously been left outside, so it was just seized up. And then inside here there's a switch which runs on the electric. For this is a switch to turn your tyre one way or the other, and it would only turn one way. And Dan spent ages trying to figure out why it didn't work, and I bet he's rewired the switch, but he thinks it was wired up wrong. But after quite a lot of research, he's figured it out, and he's got it working both directions now. So the foot pedal everything works. The only thing that does leak air is this water, I don't know what it is, it's a regulator or a oiler or a water catcher, I don't know. That's got a little crack in it, so we're just waiting for a new one of them to come, and then it'll all be working, so pretty chuffed. Just for doing car tyres and small trailer tyres and stuff like that, which we do quite, I mean, even just to have something to hold the tyre still, you know, while you get a bar in, will be a great help. So we've made a ladder this morning out of all of the offcuts of this bottom bars, which looks a bit shabby, but it's not too bad. It'll do a job, hold the bales on. And we just quickly sprayed it with a bit of leftover paint we had, and welded the hitch extension on, which makes it sit just right on the tractor now, we think. The trailer sits dead level, and I've just now welded on a bit of an extension onto the foot so that it doesn't drop down as far when you drop it off, which again is just a load of old scrap from the muck spreader. I didn't end up using that in the end. So yeah, and we've just had a pipe made up for the brakes. Hydraulic guy's been, but he didn't have an end, so we haven't bothered putting it on yet. But yeah, that basically just screws on. It'll go through these little eyelets that are here, and then along that channel, and then it'll go on to the brakes, and then we should have brakes then. All we need now is some lights, which we've ordered to go on the back, and probably a number plate, and we're good to go. I'm just going to take these feed tubs down the road just to see how it tows. These are our two trailers side by side. Still got the lights to put on yet. It's only a fraction longer than the other. But yeah, hell of an upgrade, I would say, especially when we get the brakes working. It's going to have a hell of a tail swing. I don't think the paint's going to last on there very long. It's going to be in the hedges. But yeah, I think we're going to want the bar putting roughly the same place where that bar is. But we want it so that we can hopefully be able to stack bales upright, which I think they'll come out to about here somewhere. So yeah, haven't just decided how we're going to put the back bale bar on yet. Something similar to this, but I don't want this diagonal in the way in case the bales do overhang. This is fine for if you put them on their sides, but if you want to put them on their ends, that's no good. So we'll have to figure out something else. But yeah, to's really nice. Tash is really pleased with the new trailer, aren't you, Tash?
Yeah. I'm impressed,
Really excited.
The paint job really improved it.
We've still got it in here. Stands there crowing. Baz the cockerel. These are the youngest bunch that have just been weaned, and these are the oldest bunch, which will be the next ones to go out of here onto silage. Dan's just put the rake on. He's starting to have a look at that now, because we've sort of done everything we can on the trailer. Just waiting for some lights to arrive so we can get them wired up. But yeah, happy with that. So I'm going to try and get some spraying done. Apparently we've got rain coming tonight, but it's been a really good day for spraying, but it's just one of them days. It's got into nearly the evening and still haven't got the sprayer on. So I just took the loader off. I'm going to put the sprayer on. I've got a tank of water filling. I'm going to see if I can get a tank full of weed killing done tonight. I did really want to have all my fertiliser spread before I sprayed, because I wanted to make sure that everything was growing really. Because last year I sprayed a bit too early and I think it knocked the grass back. But I've held on for some warmer weather. It hasn't half warmed up today. It's been a really nice day today, so I think the weather's ready. It's just a shame I haven't got fertiliser, but there's some fields that I think are going to have grown that much. I don't think there'll be any point putting any fertiliser on by the time it turns up, because stuff might be starting to go to seed. It's supposed to be here any day now, but we'll see. It's going to make a mess. Tram lines, spreading or spraying, whatever I do now, because there's so much grass. But anyway, we'll get the sprayer on and go and have a look at some fields. Start off doing headlands that I definitely know need weed killer, where we've hacked back brambles and stuff over the winter, and hedges, and just go from there really and see what needs doing. I'm just putting in a gateway into one of our fields that doesn't have a gateway. For the landlord, we're going to have to dig all this out because it's like a pudding. Put some hardcore down, and then once we've knocked the posts in, all these hedges are going to have to come out. That tree's going to have to come out, and then that willow behind me is going to have to come out, and a couple of stumps. Weather's all over the place. We've just had a hell of a downpour, but half an hour ago it was cracking the flags. It's just a bit unpredictable at the moment. It's forecast a lot of rain, but we don't seem to be getting much. But yeah, and when the sun comes out and the wind stops blowing, it's quite warm and pleasant, but as soon as the wind gets up, it's quite bitter and cold. Still not really properly growing weather. I'm umming and ahhing whether to do some more spraying. We've done I did about 20 acres of weed killer, but I'm still not sure really whether it's the right thing to be doing yet, because it's a bit cold and we're still waiting for fertiliser. But Dan started working on this rake, started taking it to bits. He's took that ram off. Oh, the ram's back. Oh no, that's the other ram, sorry, that's folded it over. The ram off this side, he's took off because he says it was leaking quite badly. I didn't think it was that bad, because I'm pretty sure I'd resealed either that one or that one. One of them I bought a seal kit for a couple of years ago, off class, which cost me a fortune, but he's decided to send that one into our hydraulic guy. He's going to reseal it for us, so probably be cheaper. Stop the oil leak, because oil's not cheap anymore, is it? And then he's took This is the bit we bodged up. So basically this box here is cracked last year, and we just welded it up and bodged it all up just to see us to the end of the season really. But we need to do something about it. But what we want to do is extend this box at least 6 inch, and then extend this bit of box, which is the internals bit, 6 inch, because what this is cracked. So this was our trouble really. There's only that much overlap when you've got it fully extended. This is the bolt that holds it in, but that obviously this is snapped off. The PTO shaft has been rubbing here because this shaft runs inside. So we want to cut that bit of broken stuff off, extend the box, extend the female end as well, the outside sleeve, and just make it all a bit more sturdy when we've got it fully opened up, which is how we want to use it really. But in the process of taking it apart, he's also found that these pins at the end have got loads of play in them, and they might be a big contributor to the play in the whole rotor really. So he's umming and ahhing what to do, because these pins have got quite a bit of wear on them, which they shouldn't do really. They shouldn't really have worn. The bushes should have worn before the pins, but it seems like both the pins and the bushes have worn. So we don't know whether to bite the bullet and buy new pins and new bushes, which will probably cost a fortune from Class, or get them made up from an engineering firm, because they're quite simple pins. Or Dan's wondering whether to make new pins himself, but obviously we can't make the bushes ourselves, so we don't know how far to go, to buy new bushes, make new pins, just make new pins on its own and just see what that does. Don't know. But this side he reckons is quite a lot worse than the other side, so we're going to try and focus on this side, and then see what it's like before we start taking the other. I think that's probably going to be a winter job, the other side. But yeah, the whole thing is turning out to be quite a big job, and I don't think we're that far off wanting to use it, so I'm a little bit concerned that it's not going to be back together in time. But he's got someone to quote, because you can't actually buy this size or that size box seemingly, so he's quoted to get someone to make up like a U shape in bent folded steel, and then we'll weld the fourth side on maybe. I don't know. Dan's doing it, but I am a bit concerned that it does need doing quite soon, because some of this Westwold grass is not a million miles off wanting cutting, I don't think. But anyway, right. The digger to what I call a dog field, because there's some piles of soil down here that I tipped at some point last year because there's some big holes there and I needed to get rid of a few loads of soil, and I keep forgetting to come back and level them off with a digger. And I came spraying this field the other day, and it reminded me that I still need to do that, otherwise I'm going to hit the piles of soil with the mower. While I'm on my way, I'm just tidying up some of these trees that want chucking out of the side of the field I couldn't quite get with a hedge cutter, so we'll tidy these out of the way. Just tidy, level the soil out. There's still one pile over there to do. But while I was here with the digger, there was a couple of little saplings that had grown in this sort of line that I've pulled out and just chucked underneath the trees. I'm going to go get my chainsaw and chop these couple of branches off, and then because when I took this field on, the guy who was mowing it before, the line was about here. This was all bramble and brash, and the same the other side. I've gained right up to the fence, but it was somewhere here that was grass before, so I've gained quite a bit of ground. And then just in doing what I've done now, I was only able to mow up to there, where I should be able to mow right up past the digger. And if I take these branches off, basically right up to that tree and this tree, which, yeah, every little helps, doesn't it? this was all rubbish last year. It was all bramble that got flailed, and then it got sprayed once, so it's allowed the grass to come up. There's a patch here where there obviously isn't any grass because of all this weed, but I've sprayed it again the other day, so hopefully grass will come, because again the mowing mark was here somewhere, so we've gained all that ground. And then there was a massive dip in the field. I don't know if it was an old ditch or something, or like a marking of an old field boundary, this tree line, but it wasn't very nice to mow and rake through, so I had some soil that I've just tipped off, so I've just leveled that off. And then there was just a great big hole here, so there's a load here as well, but there's a few bricks in it I'll have to throw out. I didn't realise how much brick was in it, but I'll level this hole off because that was a great big hole that the tractor wheel fell down. But yeah, I'm hoping these weeds will die, although they don't look as though they are dying. I don't know whether I sprayed this bit. I certainly went round the outside, but maybe these got missed, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with this field. It's turning out really well. I think there's about 4 acres of it that was mowable in the first year, and I'm hoping that we'll get it to nearly 7 acres by the time we've tidied it all up. I don't think we'll get 7 acres, but maybe 6 acres, because there's the owner's actually done loads of work along this top boundary as well, which we're gonna have to re-fence, so it'll be a tidy little field. Job done. There's actually a manhole there, that's why I tipped soil there, because the manhole was sat a bit proud, so the soil now just brings up the ground around the manhole so you can mow over it, no trouble. And I've pruned some of them trees. There's not a lot of point pruning the left hand side because there's a load of young oak trees there, and I'm not sure whether or not they can come out or whether they're to stay, so I'll leave them there for now. It could be a future project. But yeah, I've just tidied up along this hedge line as well, but there's quite a lot of ground to be gained. It's just I don't know exactly how many trees I'm allowed to take out, but anyway, that's a good job done for now. Been to pick this up from an auction. I'm hoping it's going to be an upgrade to our Crone tether. It's the same size, it's a 7.7 metre, I think, 77, which is the same as a Crone, but it's a bit newer, and we're hoping. I've always wanted a Lely one because everyone says they're really good because they've got a different type of tine. It wants a bit of work, it's got loads of tines missing. But I'm hoping that it was just used till all the tines fell off and then traded in, and that there's not anything major wrong with it, but we'll have to get it off and see. But yeah, it looks pretty solidly built, to be fair. Like our Crone, just loading it straight away you would know there's loads of play in it, everything just wobbles and rattles around, whereas this thing, it's towed back really nice on the trailer, didn't wobble around at all. So yeah, we're going to figure out how we're going to get it off now, and then if it does work, then probably, don't know, compare it with this one, but this one will probably be for sale if this one works out alright, but we'll see. We unbolted these guards because the way they were stuck out right out to like here somewhere, which seemed a bit dangerous. We couldn't really get them off, but we unbolted them and put them sort of to one side and strapped them down. But yeah, we've just had a bit of a heavy shower. I was hoping to go spraying when I got back. I filled the sprayer up full of chemical. It was really sunny this morning, but I don't think there's any chance of that now unless it blows off and brightens up pretty quick. legs are also way better on it than on this thing. This thing has always wanted to fall over every time you drop it off. It just doesn't seem to want to stand up. But yeah, the legs on that are really solid. So. End of the line for this Hereford, brown Hereford, because he's going to the butcher tomorrow. He's turned out quite nice. He was a tiny little thing, and he didn't get sold when we sold the rest in his age group, because he was just a load smaller than the rest, and I knew he wouldn't hardly make anything, so I kept him back. And he's been in here with the oldest lot, and he's been getting barley, well, a bit of barley every day, but mostly silage. And I've just basically kept him an extra 6 months, and he's going in the freezer for us because we've run out of beef now. I don't understand. There's a lot of farmers that won't eat their own produce, and I've never really understood it. I know I've known dairy farmers that won't drink their own milk, and I know beef farmers that don't eat their own beef. And I bet there's loads of, well, I know some, but there's definitely sheep farmers that don't eat lamb. Probably mostly because they can't afford to. But yeah, I don't really get it. I mean, all I really need now is a house cow, and I don't think I'd have to go shopping at all for food, really. It's just dairy we're short of here, and I would love to have a house cow one day maybe, but it's just another job. But yeah, it's a bit worrying when you think that there's not many people, British people, that actually eat lamb on a regular basis, and yet the amount of lamb that we produce in the country, and it's near enough all going to foreigners that eat it on a regular basis, which is just a bit worrying, isn't it? Because if you look at market reports throughout the year, and there's a hell of a lot of lamb that gets sold in UK markets, and yet you speak to any British person and most people only have lamb once a fortnight, not even that sometimes. So yeah, it's scary. But anyway, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that meat. The last two that we've had killed have been Angus, and I don't think the last one was, but the first one we had was actually a homebred Angus when we used to have sucklers. But this will be the first Hereford, and he's actually the last one in this shed that was like hand reared. I reared him on the 3-teat milk bar, and I was whisking the milk by hand. I think all these others have all been reared on the machine. He's probably one of the last lot that I hand reared before we bought the automatic feeder, and you can tell because they've all got holes in their ears where they've had their extra tag, and he's not got any holes. I do remember buying him actually. I think I bought him from Shrewsbury Market. Got 3 more pigs from the market the other day. They've been here 2 or 3 days, so they've just settled in. We were just thinking it's been over 2 months since we got the last lot. So, but the last lot they were quite small when they came. These are the 2 that we got first, and they got knocked back a bit when they came. But they're fine now. But they probably haven't grown as much as they should have done. So there's not quite as much difference. And with markets being only every once a month, you don't always get them when they're weaned. I think these have probably been weaned a couple of weeks really, so they're a bit bigger than what I was expecting to buy, but they'll be all right. Apparently they're large white crossed with from a Gloucester sow, or was it a Gloucester boar? Maybe it was a Gloucester boar. So they should taste all right. Dan's been putting the lights on this trailer. We bought some just cheapo LED lights off eBay, and he's welded some of this bit of Z plate that we had lying around. He's welded it on. I think they'll look alright then. You set them back a bit so they're not too vulnerable, just in case you do back into a bale. Although maybe I'd have set them back a little bit more, but anyway, we've got to put a bracket on here to mount the bale bar that's going to slot into the back, hopefully. But I think he's just short of some cabling. He's got a junction box Oh, here's his junction box where he's going to run the cables into. It's just the same one that you get on Ivor Williams trailers. So we've got to run a cable up to here, and then he's going to run cables from there. I think he's got some front side lights to go on as well. These little LED ones, I can't remember what we bought them for. They've been lying around in the workshop for ages. Well, years. I think they might have been for the stock trailer maybe, but I obviously never got around to putting them on. Stainless steel, need some fancy stainless steel brackets. Yeah, they'll be alright. They're probably way brighter than you think actually. Oh, I wish it had stopped raining. Should we put the tether on then and see if it spins? Yeah. On, and straight away we found the problem. There should be a stop there on both sides which stops this from going any further, like that one there. And they've obviously snapped off. That one snapped. And that one snapped off there. So this one's nose diving because there's nothing stopping that from going down. So yeah, but this is cast, so Dan doesn't think we'll be able to weld to that. So we might have to make something that it comes off. This is steel that's bolted on. Oh, this is steel as well. So we might have to make something that welds to this maybe, whether it'll be strong enough. I mean, we could drill and tap into the cast, could we, or not?
Yeah, if it's good quality cast, which it should be, yeah it will be, because it's a gear casing.
So yeah, we kind of wondered what would be wrong with it, and that's what it is. The rest of the machine looks alright, although Dan's noticed that it's been welded up.
Yeah.
So that's cast as well, or is that steel?
No, that's stainless steel.
So it looks like it's cracked here before and it's been welded and it's cracked again there. So that might want re-welding at some point. Crack witness there. Oh, it's bloody raining again. But other than that, it's an absolute bit of kit. What a bit of kit.
It's in a tie.
Missing one time. Well, it's got quite a few broken tines.
One missing and a couple broken.
That rim doesn't look very special. Oh no, the rim's okay. It's a guard. It's a rim guard. These seem like a good idea. Stop the grass getting wrapped around the wheels. Yeah, it's absolutely chucking it down now. We've just tested the brakes on the trailer and they do seem to work. Although, well, the rams move. We don't know whether the brakes actually work, but the rams move as they should. So that's a good sign, and there's no leaks.
So it's middle of March, well, middle of April, so it's the end of this video. Look at this. There's a road closed sign, and that's all the work that they've done. They've dug up a water main that's about 2 meters off the side of the road, and they've put up a road closed sign, both ends of the road, for that. You do wonder sometimes, don't you? But yeah, this will be the end of the video, because it's the middle of the month. So I'm taking this cow to the butcher's now, so I'm quite excited to see what the meat's like, but we won't see that for another month because they'll hang it for a good time, I would have thought. I've just had confirmation that there's fertiliser on the way, so that's good. I've walked a couple of fields recently looking for where I need to spray. I've got a lot of spraying to do, we're absolutely plagued with buttercups, mats of buttercups, so hopefully I'll get on with some spraying this afternoon in between the showers maybe. The one good thing about the showers is if the fertiliser comes, I should be able to get it on and it should get rained in amongst all these showers. So I'm probably not going to put it everywhere because there's fields that have just gone too far and they probably want mowing first. Fields like this little one here has gone a bit yellow, so I probably will put a bit on that, try and get put some silage on it. But some fields have got a lot of digestate, have managed to actually keep growing and stay green, and they've got to the point where there's so much grass. I think I'm just going to make a mess driving all over it, and I'm not going to gain much from it really. I'm better really saving my fertiliser for a second cut, get some nice early first cuts off within the next couple of weeks if the ground's dry enough, and then put fertiliser on and try and get a decent second cut. That's the plan anyway. But the hay ground, anything that I'm leaving for hay, if it's not too much grass on it, I think I'm going to try and put a little bit of fert on, but we'll see. See how it goes. We'll take each field as it comes. But yeah, thanks for watching. We're going to try and get that tenor fixed because I want to try and use it as soon as possible, as soon as we start mowing. So if I get a chance, I'll try and work on that today. Dan's not here today, so he won't be doing anything. The trailer's there and done with the lights. He's put all the lights on, all the front and back lights, but we just need some cabling to wire it all up, which we need to get. Brakes seem to work. So yeah, trailer pretty much finished, apart from we've got to make the back part yet. But again, we need some box steel to do that, because we haven't got the steel the right size. Building that trailer is kind of used up all the steel we had lying around. But anyway, there's some grass already being cut around here. I'm assuming it's because people are wanting to get